day 2 of the expo. Things kicked off yesterday with Miss Yehoda perfectly getting up. We got Beidou from the Outcore, and we got Navia, gang boss out here, and then we got Aino and Ineffa. And then we found Yelan and Chevreuse, and also come in here and begin an investigation. We brought them to good old Nefer.
Can this launch blaster thing really shoot stuff from that far away?
So that she can also be alerted in that someone or something needs to be captured during this event.
It does launch and blast things, but it's actually called a ballista. And yes, it can.
That's a lot smaller than what she was selling
How
before.
does it stay on target?
Auto
It
tracking.
uses a remote guidance system. But I'll let you in on a little secret. The upgraded version doesn't even need that.
Can I give it a try?
So when you just pick a target and shoot.
Oh, not
fuck
a
does the upgrade
chance,
version
kid. Can't have you hurting yourself. Believe me, this thing is even more powerful than it looks. Ask me again once you're older.
Once you're older, kid.
Beidou, what you up to?
What's she up to? Shooting guns with kids.
Oh, it's you two. I was just introducing our product to these discerning young customers.
What if the kids are the people we're supposed to be investigating this entire time? And the dude selling the toys is a front? Holy shit. That would actually be a hell of a twist.
Paimon thought you were here for some, you know, fishing. Wait, are these 3?
What? No, of course not. The kids were just curious, that's all.
I'm sorry. Are these 3 preventing you from doing business? Let me get them out of your hair. Come on. Time to go.
Oh, do we have to?
This is Beidou's
Don't
shit.
sweat it. They were just curious. I'm happy to tell them more about it.
Happy to have you
No,
by.
we've taken up enough of your time already. Neb, don't bother people when they're trying to work. Okay?
Okay.
It was no bother, I swear. In fact, once the expo is over, come find me on my ship, and I'll let you see the ballista in action. How does that sound?
Yay,
How much did it
Captain Beidou.
cost?
Not a damn thing, over-voiced child.
Not a single mora.
Really? It's a promise then, miss.
Your vessel. It's a battleship, isn't it?
Battleship.
Are you sure you should be bringing children on board?
We bring all types on
Why
board.
not? Whenever we're docked back in Liyue to pick up supplies, I always let the kids around the harbor come aboard to play, and boy, do they love it. If a kid from Liyue can do it, why not a kid from Sumeru? A battleship may as well be a giant playground to them.
You might as well.
Is that
dude.
so? I've heard that people in Liyue also turn gunpowder into explosive firecrackers and give them to children as toys.
I mean, a firework? You don't got that in Sumeru?
Perhaps only the kids back in your home country are lucky enough to look at a giant battleship and see a playground.
If you're worried about safety, I can...
What is this, dude?
No.
Survivor?
I suppose I'm just envious. That's all. I'll be sure to bring them over if we get the chance.
Why do you like, where in Sumeru would you have seen a battleship and be like, oh, a sign of invaders destroying my land? Like, what is this bullshit, bro? What, you grew up in the desert? So what, you got swashbucklers who kill and destroy villages. It ain't the same as a battleship, dog.
Seems like he really cares about those kids, huh? Anyway, what did you want to talk about?
The mission.
Oh, just wanted to ask how it's going with the top secret, fishing. Did you reel in the catch of the day yet?
Not even close.
They're circling the hook just fine. Just waiting for a bite.
Whoa! Where did you come from?
The shadows.
Shh.
Also highlighting the fact that you don't know how to keep your damn mouth
That
shut.
just
and
proves my
listen.
point. Something like this would only see more use in Fontaine.
What?
Ah,
Spy.
Except, you never find something like this for sale there. Better jump on the chance now before it's too late.
Excuse me?
he's coming this way.
What are we all looking at?
Steady now.
You didn't see us just fucking dash across?
That's mighty expensive.
Chevreuse over there in the corner. We are not
No one's
stealthy with
forcing
this.
you to buy it. If you're not interested, you're free to move along.
If you're a broke nigga, don't hit it back.
What? Come on. There's no rule saying we can't haggle.
The Voynich Guild gets a cut of whatever I sell. Obviously, that's factored into the price. Don't like it? Take it up with them.
Listen, I can tell this is something special. If you're willing to go a bit lower, I'm prepared to cut a huge deal.
I know it's something special, so I plan on getting paid what it's worth.
Perhaps there's a way we can both get what we want then.
What are you implying?
Well, Nod-Krai's a big place. Surely this expo isn't the only place we can cut a deal.
That's crazy, bro. Underhand, black market, black market. Well, if the Voyagers Guild wants to get their cut, why don't we do a deal without the guild?
Oh?
Black market on black market, bro.
What would you say to working this out someplace else? Somewhere the guild can't get a cut?
That means no guild protection either. What will I do if you run off without paying?
Considering the giant sword you've got handy, if anyone's getting robbed, it'd be me, don't you think? Point is, we're both going out on a limb here. But the reward's worth the risk.
Fine. Name a place. As a registered participant, though, I'm too close to the guild. If we don't want them catching on, I'll need to send a proxy.
Smart thinking. Let's meet here, then.
And then everyone
Good.
actively
He took the
approaches.
Let's go elsewhere to discuss our next move.
Yeah, well, that's very smooth that every single person showed up. Encirclement of bullets and silk. That sounds like Chevreuse and Yelan. Welcome. Let's see. Can we just teleport to the Alcor? Yes, we can. Alcor class number 2. Never mind. Ooh. Different name. I forgot it's the number 2. She said she had a second ship.
Captain Beidou's hook was
Oh,
what
we
got
seen
him
it
in the end,
during the Liyue second cutscene.
I didn't get a chance to show off how convincing I can be.
The J Chamber being rebuilt. She had the 2 ships.
This isn't tabletop troop, Navia. In real life, persuasion takes a lot more than a dice roll.
I
Clorinde
brought
knows
a
what's up.
product tailor-made for Fontaine because I thought the group's activities were limited to that area. Turns out, we're dealing with an international crime ring.
Oh
I
shit.
suppose it makes sense that Captain Beidou's bait was more enticing. It's a good thing we teamed up.
Well, in any case, I mean, shit. If they were heading to Nod-Krai to get some explosives and weapons, of course they would be international. They
We
would
wouldn't
source
have
their
gotten
black
far
market.
without your intel either. Gotta ask, though, how did you know these guys would be so quick to abandon the expo?
I read their file. Nothing's off the table for them when profit's on the line.
How'd you lose your eye? Same thing with Beidou. How did you lose your
When
eye?
it comes down
2
to
eye
it,
patch wearing
they'd
women.
see the protection the expo provides is just more red tape. Something to work around rather than with. Just like the law.
So, we meet up with this guy, catch him, and problem solved, right?
Not exactly. Might be more is going on
No.
here.
The person we're meeting is just an underling sent to scout the situation. We're after the leader of the whole ring. And after observing the situation over the past 2 days, it's clear they have undercover agents waiting in the wings. If something happens to our point of contact, those agents will scatter to spread word of what happened, and whoever is behind this whole thing will know we're onto them.
So we gotta keep making the deals.
In that case,
We have to get the jump on them all at once, and use them to get intel on our real target before he has a chance to react.
Alright, bug our shipping containers. We'll booby trap them for
Forgive
some
me
way to
for
be
pointing
traceable.
out the obvious, though. We have nowhere near enough personnel for that. If even one of the agents escapes, it's over.
Right.
Let me guess.
We don't know how
You'd
we're
rather
dealing
follow
with.
this deal through to the end to lure out the real culprit? Nice idea, in theory. The problem is, in my experience, that person would never show their face for something like this.
I can work around that. But only as long as the deal goes ahead.
So, you're planning to trail the person picking up the goods. I suppose that could lead us to the big fish, but that would mean we have to actually hand over the weapon.
Why not?
Aren't you worried about putting something that dangerous in the hands of criminals?
Not if we're actively tracking them.
We can control how dangerous it is. But if we followed your plan, could we really guarantee that not a single agent would get away?
Bro,
You're telling me you really have a way to mitigate the threat of that weapon?
the different levels of a covert agent versus a big bus organization, like the Marisha said.
You're telling me that you really have the
Phantoms.
wherewithal to carry out a large-scale search and seizure operation in Nod-Krai?
Yeah,
Are
exactly.
they having a fight?
Yeah, we gotta do this either covertly and get all of them in one go, or you're gonna need to grab one guy and then grab the rest and then grab them and break him and then move your way up the chain.
Ah, they're both experts in this sort of thing. A lot of back and forth is to be expected.
Who's right?
Don't worry. I think they're getting along great.
Do you? Miss
A
Hairdress.
successful collaboration requires trust and a willingness to make concessions. So how about this? I'll meet up with the underling as planned and stall him as long as possible. While I'm keeping him busy, you round up the rest of the agents. Sound like a plan?
Yes, I appreciate the trust. And I promise you, not a single one will get away.
No, she'll just kill him anyways.
Like 2 peas in a pod.
Doubtful.
Traveler, you should come with me to meet the buyer. After all, we promised Nefer you would be involved in all
Should
our
we, though?
operations.
If he knows who we are, it's just gonna break immediately. Shouldn't I go with Chevreuse to make sure no one gets away?
The Traveler is kind of a famous
Yeah.
face around these parts, though.
Wouldn't we be better
Then
suited to
you
get
can serve
agents?
as backup. Remain hidden, and on the off chance he tries anything, it'll be 2 against 1.
That's true. He doesn't stand a chance against both of us.
Let's do this thing!
We're about to get caught halfway through this. We're gonna fuck up this whole operation. Also, since they're here, do they have unique dialogue? The surface? Warfare and land attack support. That's your service. Surface warfare? Who proved Guejan Ballista? Java, that's how you to shoot, huh? Once you get rid of target sleep? Oh, okay, so we know what she's doing. She's the one operating our fucking cannon for us. The single vessel outdoors quickly intend to face off against hordes of monsters with fleet-based operations. Breakthrough domain, which multiplies surveillance tech. Capable of remaining airborne an entire day. Brother in Christ, they're telling us this Millet has aerial drones for targeting airstrike positions. Hello? Not that I can imagine even calling that little firepower. You know, something that you could use. Alright, so that should tell you what Liyue tech is. They have fucking aerial drone strikes. Good to know. The world of Genshin and its technology never ceases to amaze. Flagship, huh? Well, let's see what Miss Yelan's operational idea is. How this is gonna tie up. Now, if we don't blow it while getting caught out, which is a very real possibility for us. We absolutely can fuck it up. Pretty easily, too. Miss Yelan over here.
There he is!
Shut your damn mouth.
Oh, you really can't go lower?
This is just still trying to
Best
haggle.
I can do is shave off the amount the guild was going to take.
You're a tough nut to crack. How do you plan to deliver the goods?
Depends on what you need. You don't look like you're from around these parts. So I'm guessing you need sea transport?
Yes, but there are a lot of eyes on the port. It would be better to dismantle the product and transport the components in crates.
That might be tricky. If you're worried about getting caught, then let's bypass the port entirely. We can launch from a secluded shoreline and use our own boat for transport.
Sorry. But I'd still prefer to have it dismantled and stored in regular crates.
Huh.
Ah, I'm guessing the port of arrival is where you resell the goods? You want it hidden in unassuming cargo crates, because you operate right out in the open. Most of the weapons have come in through Yilong Wharf or Lumidus Harbor, so that seems to check out.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Just connecting some dots. I think we're done here.
That's our cue! And but that. What, Paimon hit him in the back of the head? Uh-oh. Someone else is here. I think someone's watching.
It's one of the undercover agents! He's making a break for it!
Yelan, this is your special.
The captain of the special patrol will take it from here.
Will she? How's Miss Chevreuse catching up all these people? Blow his kneecap out with the rifle.
One just popped up. Looks like the one on the surface has been subdued. There are children around. I have to avoid bloodshed. Trying to escape? Allow me to show you the way!
Now watch a gunshot in the middle of town. When escaping agent, destroy object long to change route.
Nope, not this way.
Can you imagine being in the middle of town and just hearing a fucking full barrel rifle snipe out? Oh, it's not auto. This dude running from his life.
Then turn around.
At this point, you should know there's a rifleman watching your ass.
Out of steam yet? Cause I can do this all day.
He's at the entrance. You're gonna be out of position. Just blow his damn leg off at this point. She brought down the whole fucking Nasha down entrance, son.
My leg!
I should have shot him in the leg in the first place, but that would have been a lot better, but hey.
It's still attached. And if you want to keep it that way, I suggest you stay right where you are.
Always brutal as ever.
A special patrol uniform. You think bringing me in is enough? Do you even know how many of us there are? If even one gets a...
5 at the port, 10 on the outskirts of Nasha Town, 3 near the plaza. Factoring in you and the buyer, that makes 20.
There's 20 of these fuckers?
Save the best for last, right?
Bang.
How did you...
Don't even think about it.
There's the Sabina members. Yeah, she got her whole organization with
Well
us.
done, everyone.
And again,
We appreciate the assist.
if
The
Navia
boss
was
sends her
coming.
thanks.
Really? Fucking sun shining. That's our fucking boss woman.
It was an honor. Without the Spina's help back in the day, we never would have been able to make it in Nod-Krai. It was about time we returned the favor.
What? I needed to make you seem intimidating to get these local gangs on our side. We've been over this.
Yeah, I know. But hearing you call me boss will never not be hilarious.
Call her like, whatever. She is a boss, though.
Wow! Navia is something else.
Gangs me up right there.
That explains your confidence. I had no idea the Spina di Rosula could mobilize these kinds of numbers outside of Fontaine. This Navia has quite a few tricks up her
A
sleeve.
bit macarons and
No
a
trade
sprite
expo
smile
rules
could
were
get
broken
you.
Either. Even if Nefer saw it all unfold herself, we still wouldn't need to explain a thing.
Except for the guild's broken signboard, I would imagine.
That's not our problem.
It was an unavoidable sacrifice.
Yeah, you didn't need to
At
shoot
any
them that
rate,
side. You could have shot him
I
in the
suppose
leg.
the next step is to get these birds to sing. Should be an easy job. The Maison Gardiennage has a reputation for highly effective interrogation
And that
tactics.
pyro mission's gonna put on
And
a
if
number
that
of
doesn't
works on
work,
him.
I've heard that spies from Liyue have their ways of making people talk as well.
That hydro vision gonna put in some hello work.
Yes, that means the operation was a success, right?
Would you like to be waterboarded or heat treatment?
So far. Once we get someone to reveal who the mastermind behind all this is, that's when the real work begins.
I'm sure that person is in hiding somewhere far removed from the expo. But as far as our deal with the curatorium goes, I think that's a wrap.
Shouldn't we update Nefer then?
Nope. She could be the one we're looking for the entire time.
First, we need to figure out what we can learn from these agents. We'll be in touch once we have the information. Then we can head to the curatorium together.
Nice little spy operation, and we do a meeting with Miss Ineffa. With Navia's help, Yelan and Chevreuse escort the suspects away. 20 sons of bitches captured.
That went a lot smoother than expected. Not a single
Something tells me this ain't the real story.
You're thinking about Nefer's final request, huh? Let's see. We have 2 expert detectives from separate nations teaming up to uncover an international crime ring. That's not a bad story. If you feel like it's missing something, maybe Yelan and Chevreuse will uncover something more interesting during their interrogation.
I really do feel like someone else is operating here. It's either the kids and the dude, or it's Nefer setting it up just to see how, like, strategically advanced and powerful Yelan and Chevreuse are, and how far the reach of the Maison Guardian Agent and the Liyue detective agencies, the Millilith, are. How far reaching and what their strategies are for character agents.
Are you the traveler? Yehoda needs you back at the expo venue as soon as possible.
Now, who's bullying the kids now?
Did something happen?
I'm sorry, I don't know the details. All she said was that it's urgent.
Talk about actual other gangs. We're supposed to be her muscle. Interesting. First one started with the expo. We're not walking all the way out there. First one started with expo, and then it was Yelan and Chevreuse. Now it starts with Yelan and Chevreuse, and we end up at the expo, helping Yehoda out. Oh, was she walking back and forth? Well, what happened? Well, the kid's gone.
I throw the guild under the bus, or I get on the bad side of a terrifying merc captain. Oh, could this get any worse?
Double Yehoda panic.
Get it together, Yehoda. Focus on the hot dog you're gonna treat yourself to after today is over. One thing at a time. All right. You've got this.
The hot dog. What could have went
Let's try
wrong?
not to get too worked up, all right?
Don't worry. We'll get to the bottom of this. I swear.
Why her booth was robbed while we were busy getting the agents?
What happened? You're here. Please, you've got to help me, traveler. A theft at the expo is gonna ruin the guild's reputation.
What got stolen?
A theft? How did that happen? You're asking me. The guild has people keeping watch over the storage area for this exact reason. And it just had to happen to one of the scariest people here.
Interesting. Those guns we were going to ship out still got stolen, huh? Oh, those ballistas.
Beidou? Wait, that means...
Someone stole the ballistas while they were coordinating the sale?
The guild asked us to keep our goods stored on the designated shelves. I had a few prototypes that I was using for demonstration, which I had stored there. But when I came to check on things just now, I noticed that all of them had been stolen.
And each ballista is super dangerous. If they fall into the wrong hands...
Well, all the prototypes have a failsafe designed to prevent unauthorized use, so it could be worse. Still, we should get them back as soon as possible.
Got any tracking on those things? You're
The
not
guild
using a
will
Death
make
Eye
sure
magic,
of
huh?
that. If you could just keep this between us for now, we would be super appreciative. Do we have to tell her?
Shit, I was gonna say you once who stole
Honesty
them.
is the best policy. That's what he taught us.
I know, it's just...
The kid's voice, it's not meant for the youngest model. He's clearly meant to be older. The blue kid. The blue boy. He's meant to be like teenage at least, or young.
Miss Yehoda...
Young teen.
What are you three doing here?
They don't have like a young teen model. No, because the dude who
There's
just told
something
us
you want to tell
was like a
me,
young teen
isn't
model.
there?
Well, Neb's been obsessed with the ballistas ever since we got here. That's why Uncle Ashvapati told us to come see your booth. It seemed like he was interested in them too, because he even told us what parameters to ask about.
This guy's got dead eyes.
Ever since this morning, we haven't been able to reach him. We wanted to ask Miss Yehoda for help, but then we heard about the ballistas being stolen.
And?
Uncle out here's jacking the ballistas. With the half-naked
Uncle
captain.
Ashvapati would do something like that, but... Ashvapati works for the guild. He has access to the storage warehouse, so he could get inside without the guards getting suspicious. Wait, so now it's an inside job? Oh, jeez! The guild is never gonna recover from
Yeah, that's
this.
even worse, actually.
He made those toys the kids were selling, right? They don't look like much on the outside, but I bet they're hiding some serious tech. If he's a tech guy, those fail-safes I mentioned might not have our backs after all.
So, this just went from bad to worse.
Pretty much, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Thinking of which crime ring could he be connected to? Or is he just acting on his own evolution to make some money?
Could be. I mean, let's put it this way. There aren't a whole lot of people that could manage to stay off Yelan's radar.
A dude who's supposed to be
Why
good
don't you
for
take
kids?
these kids to the curatorium and see what you can learn? I've got things covered here.
They're kids. Let's have Miss Nefer interrogate them.
We can't hold these kids responsible, though. Right?
It doesn't matter. We can hold them as collateral.
No, of course not, but... how do we explain this?
There are leverage.
You want to look out for these kids, don't you?
No.
I promised I would. Besides, they're innocent in all this.
No, they were used as distractions. Well, they're innocent in that case.
Good, because I'm looking out for them too. That's why I want to find their uncle as soon as possible. No matter what he did or didn't do, it's worse for them if he's missing.
That's true. There's no real law in this land, so...
We're on the same
Those are
page
planning
then.
on blowing his brains out in front of him.
Take these kids to the curatorium. I'll
Probably.
update Yelan and tell her to meet you there.
We'll still end up with them. You might be held in a jail cell.
Will do.
So now an uncle's missing, huh? Once again, not walking. I wonder. Everyone is tied up in this shithole. We're to assume that the uncle is innocent and it's actually a red herring, that he's like Mr. Bad Guy. He's not actually a bad guy. Would be fun though, if he actually was and the kids are using us up front entirely and they're all evil. I would like that. Would make the story way more dynamic and interesting. Or, like I said before, Nefer is the one organizing the entire thing as a semi-test. Yeah, exchange intel. What's Nefer going to exchange with us?
Well, this complicates things. Here I was hoping the trouble would start and end with you two.
Nope.
But no matter. This will
Let's
all
toss that
make
fucking
for a
cat.
very engaging story.
I wouldn't be so flippant. This time, it's one of yours causing trouble.
I wouldn't be so flippant.
I'm starting
Chevreuse
to
is a
wonder if
real
all those
bitch.
agents we captured were just a distraction, so the real culprit could make their move.
That sounds about right.
It's all still up in the air right now. What can you three tell us about Ashvapati?
Look at these fucking women, bro. We got red, green, and blue, bro.
Uncle Ashvapati isn't our real uncle, but he is our guardian. He adopted us when we were little.
Is it a bandit who killed your
He told
families and
us
saw those
we all
kids there?
came from the same band of Eremites in the desert. But apparently, we're the only ones left.
I'm never gonna respect that at least.
We've been traveling from place to place with him for as long as I can remember. We got to Nod-Krai not too long ago.
God, your voice is so much for a teen voice.
Their eyes.
They're all dead, yeah.
What about them?
I said that earlier. Her eyes look dead as hell.
I'm just reminded of something. About a decade ago, there was a band of Eremites who, seemingly out of nowhere, gained technological capabilities far surpassing those of other groups.
What am I looking at here, bro? Is this Amber?
Leveraging that advantage, they built a number of highly advanced weapons and sold them to the highest bidder.
Is that why all those Emirates get the
Conflicts
teleportation?
in the desert became even bloodier as a result. While the other groups were tearing each other to shreds, these newly minted arms traders stood by and reaped the spoils.
Let me guess, is Mr. Grandpa a survivor of that, or was one of the original guys who didn't want this to happen, and that's why he doesn't like weapons technology?
But before long, their own weapons were turned against them. And as the flames of conflict engulfed the desert, the group met their end.
Sounds like that was Mr. Pravati over there who turned the weapons against him to kill the weapons manufacturer. So how much you want to bet that's how this turns out?
None of the weapons survived. And so, in the wake of that destruction, the status quo of the desert was restored.
That's basically what the story's going to be. The only way they can subvert it is that he was the original weapons seller, and someone destroyed his weapons and turned his weapons against him, and so he just gave up on the idea. And seeing Beidou's ballistas, he figures he's got a way back into the market. Of course, they're not going to do a story like that. It's just gonna be, I was the man who stopped them from killing each other and stopped the bloodshed and violence should end.
That's terrible.
No, they don't ever do any complicated stories
In
this
the
game.
desert,
Always basic.
it's kill or be killed. People will stop at nothing to gain the upper hand. If this happened in Fontaine or Liyue, I'm sure the perpetrators would have been prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But in the desert, no one bats an eye. From what they've told us,
Just like
sounds
Nod-Krai.
like these kids are orphans from that particular band of Eremites.
Which means their guardian is likely one of the few survivors as well.
Sounds more like the one who killed all their families. So...
Sounds like it.
No! Uncle Ashvapati would never do something like that. No matter
There's
what
no point
happened
trying
back
to stop
then,
the Shivering
I
Soul.
know one
Soul.
thing for sure. Uncle Ashvapati hates weapons.
Or find a way to destroy them remotely. Or
Sure,
make sure they
he's
can't
good
work.
at building things, but all he does is make toys for us to play with. He can't be the kind of person you're making him out to be. Or...
Well, kid, he was,
I'm
but he's not
sorry.
anymore.
All we can do is act upon the facts.
We don't really have the facts.
What's your
This
next
big
move?
dummy thick thighs.
From
Reminder.
our interrogations, we've learned that in 2 days, the person behind all this has a meeting planned to collect the goods. If all goes well, we can head to the pickup point and ambush them.
Reminder, Chevreuse was the first of all the characters in the game to get the unique new female model, the medium female model, and the first thing they did was give her bigger thighs and a bigger ass than all the other medium females, if I remember correctly. So Chevreuse has a larger ass,
But
but you can't see it.
if Ashvapati is part of this and the leader learns what happened, there's no chance he risks himself for his agents. So, that meeting might as well be moot.
Never forget, Chevreuse has a
Then
fat
let's
ass.
focus our efforts on Ashvapati for now. If we find him, he might just lead us to our culprit. If he stole the prototypes, there's bound to be a trail. I'm confident I can track him down.
Yeah,
I just need some time.
What can I do to help?
keep these
I work
kids.
best in the shadows. The more people involved, the harder it is to operate. As soon as I've got a location, though, he's all yours. You let me handle the search, and I'll let the special patrol handle the seizure.
I got that special patrol uniform, but we saw Navia's men, all the Spinas. And we see, obviously, Yelan operates by herself. But what are the other special patrol soldiers? We haven't seen another uniformed officer. She said she had a
Does
couple
sound
with
like
her.
the most feasible plan. I'll be waiting for the good
You
news.
think when they were shooting out there, she would have had one of her units show up.
Seizure?
Hey, don't worry too much right now. The most important thing is that we find your uncle. The rest can wait.
Maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks like I'll need to enlist your services for a bit longer, traveler.
Don't think we were done anyways. I mean, we are supposed to be going until the expo's over, right? As long as I get paid. Yeah, I'm not gonna say fucking no worries. Oh, this is a rather quick part. Not much happened. I mean, we got a couple scenes, but like, nothing crazy. There's a lot of speculation on my part. I'm gonna wait for Durin to wake up. Well, in that case, let's go do some anecdotes. Little extra thingamajigs. Tales of many, and it's a bit. Any part twos? That one's got a part two. Nope. 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 So we got all the part twos tomorrow. We'll see how it goes out here on Expedition Lane. So, I already laid out my theories of what I think is going to happen. Whether it will or does is, you know, who knows. Doubtful that we're going to get a nice advanced story about an uncle. I mean, it's basically what you think it is. Uncle's the dude who turned the weapons against him, murderer, he killed a bunch of people, now he's taking over the family because he feels bad. And you're like, What's Miss Yehoda got going on?
Watch out there, Yehoda.
Just keeping an eye on things. Looking out for any problems that might need me to step in.
Yeah. Like the kids?
Hey, you three. What are you doing here? There should be at least one of you manning the booth at all times.
Accessing booth operation logs. Analyzing. Neb left to try and buy a new blueprint. Ati soon followed to try and stop him. Finally, Rhea came to mediate between them.
Leave Rhea
I
behind.
keep telling you, we don't have that much Mora to spare.
I just wanted to have a look. What's wrong with that?
Guys, seriously, stop fighting!
Sounds like Paimon.
Here's the thing, Neb. Even if you could afford to buy a blueprint, I'm afraid I couldn't allow it.
Why not? They're paying customers.
I know you like building stuff, but these designs aren't for toys like the kind you're used to. They're for weapons, which are very complicated to build and extremely dangerous.
And who cares? If he's got the money, he's got the money. Besides, I knows a kid and she builds them.
That's a load of baloney,
Exactly.
dumpster diver. My designs are toys too, actually.
So, I mean, yeah, let's let the... If anyone's gonna verify that, oh, these blueprints are super dangerous, how about that child fucking mechanic who built them? Hello?
Huh? You build a machine that can blast monsters into the sky, and in your mind, that's a toy?
Pretty much.
I mean, at the end of the day, is there really that much difference between weapons and toys anyway?
Yeah.
Not where Knuckle Duckle's concerned. That's for sure.
Ugh, that's not the point. Anyway, you there with the brown hair, you want a blueprint?
Yeah! I want to make some thwack and smack defense bots too. I also have some design ideas of my own. And with your bots as the basis, maybe I'll be able to try them out for real.
I get it. Your head's so full of ideas you want to bring to life that you can hardly sleep at night. You try eating some snacks to take your mind off things, but it doesn't seem to help anymore.
Exactly! But what can I do? I'll never be able to afford one of your blueprints.
Well, you must have blueprints for the toys you've made too, right? Let's trade. One of your toys for one of mine.
Bartering at its
Really?
finest.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Is it ma'am or...
Tell me Aino.
It's Boss.
Oh, Boss.
Of the Clink Clank Crunkaki Craft Shop.
I guess she's got herself a title.
Thank you so much, boss of the Clink Clank Crunkaki Craft Shop.
Look at that. Yoda, oh, it's too dangerous. As the child technician who built them walks
Very
up.
thoughtful. Who are you, and what have you done with Aino?
She always does that with other
What's that
children.
supposed to mean? I'm a boss, aren't I? A lot of people depend on me. Looking out for them is a big part of the job.
Did that really just happen? For a moment there, Aino stopped being a little kid and acted like a full-on grown-up. A grown-up who's shorter than the kid she was looking out for, but still.
We're like, oh, she acted like a grown up. No, she just traded with a kid. I have something I want, I have something you want. Let's trade. What are we talking about here?
Previous records indicate that Aino has a 94% chance of adopting such behaviors when encountering a child in a similar situation
Damn,
to
who would have
herself.
thought a child like herself would see another child like themselves and work with them? What the fuck are we talking about here? Of course she's gonna fucking work with the kid. Wait, this unlocked another one? The sequential? Oh, which ones you unlock? And fucking Illuga and Flins.
Oh, Flins and Ilua!
Ilua.
Nice seeing you here!
Ah, traveler. Paimon. How do you do?
You gonna buy some refurbished rifles?
That's our secondary goal. To put it in Mr. Flints's words, it's important for Lightkeepers to spend some time in the land of the living every once in a while.
That's a great way to put it,
Sounds
actually.
like something he'd say, yeah.
He's not wrong, though. He's absolutely right. Got your eyes on the pretty Fatui lady?
Muskets? Since we're friends, Paimon will let you in on some insider info. This officer here is basically selling scrap.
This might be a collector, though. He collects coins, doesn't
Oh, I'm well aware. The sign makes that quite clear.
True.
I'm interested in this particular piece because it brings to mind a picture I once saw. It featured several Ratniki and a Fatui officer who fought alongside them. The weapon that the latter used was identical to this one.
Historical purposes.
The Fatui teamed up with the Lightkeepers?
Of course they do. Why would they
That's
not?
not unusual. I've heard similar stories from our older members. The owner of this musket must have been a hero who stood against the wild hunt as well.
Oh, the Fatui teamed up. The Fatui teamed up with the fucking Millelith to go fight the Abyss. Like, the Fatui has a habit. We saw them at Knowledge. The Fatui have a habit of fighting the Abyss when it's beneficial for them.
But why would you
especially
sell a
if the
hero's
locals'
firearm?
authority can help them?
That's just how the rules work on our end. Everyone agreed to it.
A hero's
Whether
firearm.
it's a no-name sergeant like me or a renowned hero. Our equipment is to be collected and redistributed once we're dust on the wind.
Well, that tells us about the Fatui's mission structure. Just another number. Also, a no-name sergeant. You have a whole event for yourself, by the way. What we have recorded if you want to watch.
The stuff that's usable is given to new recruits. And the scrap is sold for whatever price it can still fetch. That way, we can at least put it towards feeding the grunts, you know? Better than following them to the grave.
Huh.
One man gets a rifle, one man gets an ammo. The guy dies in front of you, pick up whatever he had and continue the fight. More guns. More soldiers than you have guns, huh? Genshin Naya is pretty good like that.
I think I'm going to buy this musket, Mr. Flins.
You got a large population.
Could you tell me a few more stories about it when you get the chance?
Of course.
Fatui are everywhere. And they're well staffed and stocked. Look at that. Nice anecdote of history of Fatui-Niki relations. Yay! Really? I was not expecting, so they're all sequential. Or most are sequential.
Ahem. So what's the situation in need of mediation?
Another treasure hoarder wants to steal my
This person's
shit.
been glaring daggers at me from behind since she arrived. Hey, you! I'm a member of the Fruity Order. You hear?
Oh, don't tell me it's an actual member of the Fruity
What a
Order.
coincidence. So am I.
Ruthless Calla.
Wait, really?
Oh, the killers.
I first encountered the humor and intelligence of trendy Zaytun Peach in the New Tide anthology. Then I heard the legend of intrepid Valberry while I was in the Fortress of Meripede.
Oh, so you were in Fontaine.
The more I heard about your order, the more it drew me in. I've been searching for so long, but I was never able to find an actual member.
So you're not really a member.
So
then,
when I
like a
heard
baby.
that the Nod-Krai Trade Expo was being held again, I applied under your name. And now, I finally get to meet you.
You gotta be careful. This group of treasure hoarders has a particular mean streak for killing people.
It's those idiots. Stirring up trouble again, huh?
So what I'm getting is that this guy's an imposter?
Just not an official
Our
member. at least.
orders won the expo rights several years in a row, so we announced that we were backing out of the running this year to avoid conflict. Then, this guy had to come along. A few of the other groups were looking to duke it out, so imagine their anger when someone claiming to be one of ours snatched the expo rights again.
Ah, say trouble,
Norton's made
trouble
any
for
trouble
you.
for me. Wait, does that mean you've taken them all out already? Man, I knew it. The Fruity Order's as good as they say.
What again? Making
Can I
them
join?
No, you blithering
We
idiot.
can't make trouble at the expo. Voynich Guild rules. Once it's all over, meet me at the harbor in Nasha Town.
I see. All right, I'll be there.
You're screwed, buddy. You're not.
Does he not realize what's going on
Yeah,
here?
they're gonna kill you, dog.
Also, considering our smooth collaborations thus far, a word of advice for the guild. This guy has only been able to keep his head in his booth because the Fruity Order took care of any rival factions.
You're about to take his head clean
But
off
if there's
after
one
this.
thing the treasure hoarders have in spades, it's sore losers. Since our order has proven untouchable so far, they're sure to find easier targets to vent their frustration on. So look after those kids.
Huh. So this guy has been responsible for more than one conflict so far.
This dude's gonna end up dead. Outright. You're fucked. What's Mr. Lieben got going on? Is that Varka? Is that D-Luke? You look smarter than him. Anyways, this dude's screwed. He's gonna see him nice and dead after this event. Oh, we're never gonna see Mr. Lockham.
What do you think?
You have
Not
fucking
bad.
Calla Lily
It's
gonna
just
slit
like back in
your throat.
Varka,
Mondstadt.
you're here for the expo too?
Yeah, what you got going on, Mr.
Oh,
Varka?
hey, traveler, Paimon. I was only planning to take a look around. Wasn't expecting this pleasant surprise.
You'll be out of Nod-Krai. How are
In
you
this
here?
part of the world, even a homegrown Mondstadt apple is a rare treat.
Yes. And on that note, I should advise you that the prices are quite different from what you'll be used to.
Actually,
back
I
home.
think technically this event is supposed to take place before, like, all the anecdotes. Like, when Yehoda had met Navia, because when they played D&D together, I think that anecdote was supposed to say after this. So, technically, this takes place before he comes back to Mondstadt, even though it's a whole hatch after.
Not a problem. It's a price worth paying for a taste of home. I'll
Yeah.
take the whole batch and send someone to collect
Which,
them
it's
later.
weird, the continuity. This event absolutely takes place before he comes back.
Looks like you've already made your money back, huh, Leben? Oh, and Varka, since you're looking for a taste of home, have you tried the Mondstadt wine next door? Apparently, he uses special connections to keep the import costs down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's pretty good, but not Mondstadt wine good.
So it's not for Mondstadt.
Besides, I wouldn't be able to buy any even if it was. We can't have the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius going around supporting smugglers, can we?
Yeah, we can. It's a legal market.
True.
I don't smuggle.
You're not gonna reprimand him, though, are you?
Someone will.
Don't worry, I know it's Nefer's rules here. Not out to make life difficult for you. If you find yourself at a loose end, come visit our base sometime. I'm gonna get the Knights to make some cider out of these apples.
It'll be our pleasure. Look at that.
Oh, you're as generous as they say, Grandmaster.
Looks like you finally made some real profit.
Off of apples.
Hey, don't make me sound so incompetent. Though I'll admit, I wasn't expecting to make my money back quite so quickly. Now I can start thinking seriously about my next venture.
Oh god, where are you gonna head next? You're in Nod-Krai now. What, Shneznaya?
I'm planning on heading to Snezhnegrad,
Shep,
actually.
oh, man.
I hear they're running low on lots of supplies because of Project Stuja. That's a business opportunity if I've ever seen one.
That's a real business
With
opportunity.
any
Too.
luck,
You're right about that.
maybe I'll have the pleasure of seeing you there.
Well, good luck out there. Hope you strike it rich.
Hope you stand next to some 7.0 NPCs, because holy hell, did you see the low textures on his hand? Is that all the anecdotes for today? Yes, it is. Okay, we're not gonna get any more. These actually take place later, unlike the other ones. And this one's not unlocked yet. Oh, same thing with Dory. Dory's got hers tomorrow. Yay! Alright. I'm not gonna do the mini games because meh. What? I wonder what's gonna happen. Start dancing with the robot, man. I'm telling you, it's the uncle's the dude who. But then, there's no way he's like the coordinated dude. I think two-pronged story here. The uncle's the one who stole the technology to dismantle it so that it can't be used to build new weapons because he knew the guys were going to get the weapons, yada 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 yada. He's the one who killed all the people in the Eremite Desert. That's locked in. But the person behind selling everything and trying to get the weapons, I feel like that's Nefer. Nefer set it up intentionally like this for some reason. It might be as funny as something as easy as test Yehoda. I feel like it's more akin to testing Yelan and Chevreuse to see how far their reach extends and what they're capable of. Now, is the story going to be that complicated? Probably not. But what she says, she's like, I want to know the real story. To see if we can also put together. It's like a test for everybody, essentially. If Yehoda can handle this, how exactly strong are those other assholes, and can we deduce what is actually going on? Either way, tomorrow we'll find out. And by tomorrow, I mean in a day after tomorrow. Oh boy.